Hello everyone. Now I am going to explain you about cooling towers in thermal power plants. When we visit a thermal power plant, we generally notice some huge concrete structures which are hyperbolic in shape. These are nothing but cooling towers. In this video, I am going to explain you about the basic purpose of using these cooling towers in thermal power plants, various components involved in a cooling tower, and function of each and every component involved in it. Before getting into it, I would like to brief you how a thermal power plant produces electricity. This is the basic setup of a thermal power plant. In thermal power plants, we use steam to run the turbines. First of all, by using this boiler, on the screen you can observe here, boiler. This is the boiler. By using this boiler, water is converted into steam. After converting it to steam, this steam travels through the turbine and it rotates the turbine. By rotating the turbine, the mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy by using electrical generator. And this steam, after rotating the turbines, in order to use this steam again in this cycle, we need to convert this steam into water. For converting this, we use condenser. So this is condenser. The main function of this condenser is to convert steam into water. For this, we have a series of pipes inside condenser. Inside this condenser, we have a series of pipes, and inside these pipes we have a coolant. In this case, we use water as coolant. And this steam, after entering into this condenser, it comes in contact with these series of pipes. Inside we have a coolant, so the heat gets transferred. The heat gets transferred from steam into the coolant. In this way, steam cools down and it is converted into water. And this water is again used in this cycle. And coming back to condenser, inside this condenser, now the coolant gets heated up because it has absorbed heat from the steam. So this coolant gets heated up and it becomes hot. And in order to use this coolant again, we need to cool the hot coolant. We need to cool the hot water. So this warm water is transferred to cooling tower. So the basic purpose of using cooling tower is to cool the coolant. This is the basic structure of a cooling tower. Let me explain you the main components of a cooling tower. And now the first one is pipe network. This is called pipe network. We have a series of pipes here, and we also have number of small nozzles. And next, this particular portion highlighted in green, we call this as film material. Film material is generally a kind of mesh material which is made up of typically plastic, and we have on the top drift eliminators. So these are the main components of a cooling tower, and let me explain you the basic function of this cooling tower. And here we can observe this is hot water. This hot water is coming from the condenser. This hot water, nothing but a coolant, is coming from the condenser. So we need to cool this hot water. So we pass this hot water through this series of pipes, and by using these small nozzles, we spray this hot water down. This hot water is sprayed down, and this hot water first comes in contact with this film material. Now what happens is, on the right side you can observe this is the cooling tower at site. At the bottom we have several gaps here. These are gaps. The basic purpose of using these gaps is by providing these gaps, the cold air from the atmosphere enters into the cooling tower. So from the bottom, cold air enters into the cooling tower and it comes in contact with this film material, and in this film material we already have this hot water. We have sprayed the hot water from these nozzles, and this hot water came in contact with this film material, and from the bottom we already have a cold air. So in this way the hot water gets cooled. Now when we don't use this film material, what happens is, for example, assume there is no film material here. So in that case, this hot water directly goes down into the reservoir. In that case, not much cooling occurs. So the basic purpose of using this film material is, by using this film material, we are actually increasing the surface area of contact. This hot water and cold air, we are actually increasing the surface area of contact. By increasing the surface area, more cooling occurs, and also we are increasing the time of travel of hot water. When we increase the time of travel of hot water, more cooling occurs. So this is the basic purpose of using this film material. Now hot water gets cooled. Now by cooling this hot water, the air present here gets heated up. The air present in this area gets heated up. Now in this portion we have hot air. Let us call this as hot air. And at the bottom we have cold air. We all know that hot air has less density and cold air has more density. Due to this density difference, the hot air gets pushed up, and now the air present here, hot air present here, gets pushed up in the upward. We can observe here the cooling tower is in a shape of hyperbola. The main purpose of preferring this hyperbolic shape is, for a hyperbola we have at this middle portion, we have a narrow portion here. This is narrow portion. So due to the differences in the density, this hot air gets pushed up. When this hot air is coming upwards, because of this narrow portion, the velocity of hot air gets increased. So the main purpose of preferring this particular shape is to increase the velocity of hot air. So when we increase the velocity of hot air, the hot air gets pushed up more quickly into the atmosphere at the top. So this hot air gets moved upwards, and finally it goes out to the atmosphere. And here we have a drift eliminator. The main function of this drift eliminator is, for example, if we have any traces of water particles present in this hot air, this drift eliminator prevents the escape of these water particles, so that we can save water. So finally this hot water travels into the pipe network, and this hot water is sprayed down through the film material, and in this film material the heat transfer occurs, the hot water gets cooled down, and this cold water again enters into this reservoir, and this cold water again is used for condenser. So this is the basic purpose of using a cooling tower. Thanks a lot.